I was uncomfortably comfortable. The feeling of having that platform of, here you go, you want to change your life? We see you. Because prior to that, I was stuck in a box and I couldn't get out, and I started painting the box and made it my home. But I needed a new platform to change my life. And, you know, I say it all the time to my brother, but like, saved my life.
Let's just assume I get to a place where I'm good. One day, Nick will walk into the room again. And if I'm not there, who will be? And it's just like, that's just part of the responsibility. You know, I spend a lot of time comparing my insides to everybody else's outsides. It's a really, really scary place, a miserable place to be. But as quiet as it's kept, solutions can be found in a lot of places.
I'm an expert in the science. I am trained as a therapist, but the culture of recovery, I'm pretty much ignorant. There are things from the recovery community that can help me with my science tremendously. So like when I look at someone like Nick, I can look at the science and maybe he knows this answer. I could go, oh, he's approaching 5 years. Statistically, the chance of relapse goes to about 0. And for me, as a scientist, I go, he's fine. He's got almost a 0% chance of relapse. But then what's your opinion when you hear me say that as a scientist?
I don't like it. Just take this with a grain of salt. When people tell me that they've stopped going to meetings, I have no reference for what that means. I have the responsibility and commitment to the program and to themselves. When he says to me, statistically 0% chance, I'm like, maybe I'm not an addict, right?
Yeah.
And then this process, obsession and compulsion, begins to happen in my mind, where I fixate, something happens, maybe some drama takes place in my life, something, and all of a sudden, I'm somewhere with a beer in my hand. Or maybe I go and find something a lot more dangerous.
There are phenomenons that occur that as an addiction scientist, I go, I know exactly what that is. We can see that the body and the brain, it will keep trying to get you to take it. But then there will be a period of radio silence. It'll fade. And so if Nick comes in and goes, how the hell am I having cravings? I've got 5 years sober. And the community could benefit from saying, oh, we know this in the literature, it's spontaneous recovery. Yes, it could be something else, it could be stressors, but we know that this is physiological, and most likely it's going to go away.
It would help validating the literature. What I love about kind of the recovery culture is this idea that we never get recovered. Some literature talks about that. I don't believe in it. I don't think that there's ever a place that I'm going to get cured. I don't think it's going to go away. I think that my disease maybe goes dormant and manifests itself and we cope in different ways, but the only difference between me and somebody that hasn't used is I don't have drugs in my body.
There is no one fix, and even the scientists know that. We don't have one magic pill or one magic treatment that's going to work for everyone. The answer is, what works? A lot of different things for a lot of different people. In accepting that there are other ways that help other people.
My experience with you getting sober was so different than I just hadn't been sober for 6 years, so life was crazy. But the thing is, I can go into any meeting and it's my choice what I believe. It's my choice to do the steps the way I want to, because at the end of the day, it's not Jared who got me sober, it's Leah. And I have to maintain that and work on that every day. And the things that work for me are both ways. For me, to be honest, the way I got sober prior to this, when I tried, it didn't really work for me. I didn't have the fear. It could be where I'm at too. I'm very fresh.
You didn't stay clean before.
No.
Maybe it wasn't the time.
No, I didn't stay clean at all before. I tried, and I literally, in my brain, I did the whole I'm not an addict because it was so easy for me.
This is what my addiction did to me. It took away you know what I sacrificed? My friends, my family, my values, my principles, my physical body, my money. I gave the fix everything I had. And at the end of the day, it was not there for me.
I was just that makes me so emotional, because when I got on a plane, nothing.
And you sitting there so empty. So this is what he gave you. This is what you got.
This is what I got. I got on a plane, literally, from him, and Dr. Harris just get me on a plane and came out here. And when I turned around, no one was there.
Yeah.
Not one fucking person. And I realized everything in my life was almost fake. I had created this whole...
You were a legend in your own mind?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, yes. My life was very crazy, and I thought that I had everything, and my career is good, and I thought that I had the best of friends that I've known for 10 years, 15 years. But when shit hit the fan, and I openly was an addict, and I was in an abusive relationship, and I moved out, was living in this shitty apartment in a ghetto place, and where I came from, for where Jared, it's weird to me that I had gotten to this uncomfortable, comfortable place, and I just kept repeating the same cycles. And on that plane, plane ride, it changed my life. It broke me. Now the relationships I have are so much more to me. So much, and I appreciate them. Like you were saying, how it's every single step, everything you do, and every single day, for me, helps me to stay sober. But I sacrificed for drugs, everything. I sacrificed me, and that was the hardest thing for me to understand. And it pisses me off still to this day, because who I am, I want to be a good person. There is no room for hate inside me. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be numb from experiences. I remember a couple months ago, it was the weirdest thing happened to me. I was laughing with my girlfriend, and it was a laugh I hadn't felt in 5 years. Because I had been so numb emotionally that it literally felt almost like a drug. I was laughing so hard, and it made me cry because I lost that. And the more I find those things, and I want people to know.
I can tell that you're reawakening, that you're discovering. So imagine what it's going to be like if you could possibly have 30 years clean one day.
When things stay dormant and quiet, and you stop going to meetings, even if you apply to that, shit goes downhill, or things never get fixed. What if the idea behind the science leads to something else? I wish that if the world could understand the way that we understand Paul and all of those things that go with it, it's a beautiful life. Because some people, they don't want to believe they're an addict. So they go to every doctor and they want to understand it.
The solution to that is, if you find recovery in a place, participate in program fidelity. Commit yourself to that one place and go to meetings there. If you ever want to change, you can go and explore. If you ever need to go anywhere, you can. The point is that we get back in this one place and really dive deep to emerge renewed.
That feeling of when you have a meeting and people with you and supporting you, and that beautiful thing that happens when everyone's on the same page and they're working towards the same goal. If those people could have that knowledge on top of that, I think it could change many lives.
That's important to me, and it gets me kind of emotional, and it's a big deal, and as we learn more about each other and about life and about how to listen to, as the literature describes it, a quiet sureness of our direction, right? Just understanding that we're moving in the right direction. That's what this whole thing is about. And we can get confused because I want to be in power and I want to be in charge, and I want to make sure that I'm going to be successful and that I can have a family one day, and I get sidetracked from the moment and living in the here and now and just enjoying spending my time with Jared or Dr. Harris or whoever else and trying to learn something. When I had a year clean, I had the solution. Now with almost 5 years clean, I feel like I have a solution, and I'm really open-minded to a lot of different ways that people live their lives.
When people hear me say no hope, I went from when I left and I turned around, no one was there. I had no fucking hope. There was nothing. It didn't exist in my soul. And then becoming sober and reawakening and having clarity, I woke up one morning and I knew hope. Mm-hmm. I knew it on a level that I'd never experienced before, and that's what I want people to feel. These gifts from the universe, people who are like this, I believe, Jared helped me, you got help. I want to help people. Mm-hmm. This creates a beautiful big change, and there's things that people don't know about, and that's why I think this documentary needs to be done.